Beloved chosen ones, I want you to pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Something powerful is about to happen. You didn't stumble across this message by chance. Heaven brought you here for a reason. There are no accidents in the realm of the Spirit. This is not just another video, not just another motivational message. This is a divine appointment between you and heaven itself. You've been asking for a sign, you've been praying for clarity, and you've been wondering if God still remembers you. And right now, heaven is whispering, yes, this is your confirmation for too long. You've carried the weight of silence. You've waited, you've battled, you've questioned why certain things happened the way they did. You've watched others rise while you were hidden. And deep inside, you wondered, when will my time come? My friend, your time has not passed. It has arrived. This is the moment where heaven unveils what has been prepared for you all along. Every delay, every disappointment, every closed door was part of divine strategy, not rejection. I want you to stay with me until the very end, because in the next few moments, I'm going to reveal what heaven is saying directly to you. A message that will reignite your faith, open your spiritual eyes, and awaken the power that's been sleeping within you if you felt weary, overlooked, or forgotten. This message will remind you of who you truly are. A chosen one, handpicked by God, set apart for something extraordinary. As you listen, don't just hear these words with your ears. Let them sink into your spirit. Because heaven is not just speaking to a crowd right now, it's speaking to you. You are about to understand why the journey has been so hard, why the silence has lasted so long, and why the battles have been so intense. It's because you carry something powerful, something the world needs. So don't scroll away. Don't lose focus. What you're about to hear could shift your entire life. Heaven's message has arrived, and by the time this video ends, your spirit will be revived, your confidence restored, and your faith set on fire. This is your moment. This is your word. Heaven is speaking, and it's speaking directly to you. You are not random. You are chosen for a divine purpose that was written long before your first breath. Heaven had a plan for you even before your name was spoken on this earth. The world may see you as ordinary, but in the realm of the Spirit, you are extraordinary, set apart, anointed, and handpicked for a heavenly assignment. There is nothing accidental about your existence. Every detail of your life, every victory, and even every struggle has been orchestrated by God to prepare you for a destiny that carries eternal weight. When you begin to understand that you are chosen, your perspective changes. You stop asking, why me? And begin to say, use me. And being chosen doesn't mean life will be easy. It means you have been entrusted with something powerful. It means heaven has confidence in you. The chosen ones often walk lonely roads, misunderstood by people who cannot see the calling upon them. Sometimes you may feel different, isolated, or even rejected. But that separation is divine. God isolates before He elevates. The isolation is not punishment, but preparation. He pulls you away from the noise so that you can hear His voice clearly. Every chosen person in history went through a hidden season where God molded their heart and refined their faith before revealing them to the world. Your divine purpose is not about status or recognition. It is about impact. You were chosen to carry light into darkness, to bring healing where there is brokenness, and to reveal God's love in a world starving for truth. Heaven assigned you a territory, whether it's your family, community, or generation, and you are the vessel through which divine influence flows. The chosen ones are not always the strongest. the wealthiest, or the most talented. They are simply those who say yes when God calls. There will be moments when you doubt your worth, when it feels like others are moving faster or shining brighter. But remember, the chosen are not measured by speed. They are measured by faithfulness. God's timing for you is sacred. He is aligning every event, every relationship, every opportunity to bring you to the exact place where your purpose will manifest. The world may overlook you, but heaven never will. You are not random, you are not forgotten, and you are not behind. You are chosen, crafted by divine wisdom, protected by divine grace, and destined to fulfill a mission only you can accomplish. There are moments in life when silence feels unbearable, when it seems as though heaven itself has gone quiet. You pray, but the answers do not come quickly. You wait, yet nothing appears to change. But the truth is that God often does His greatest work in silence. When you are chosen, your preparation does not happen in the noise of recognition, but in the stillness of divine development. The hidden seasons are sacred. They are the womb of destiny. What looks like delay is actually design. God is building something in you that cannot be rushed, something that will endure the weight of the calling He has placed on your life. In silence, God removes distractions so that your faith can grow stronger. He allows you to walk through quiet valleys, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Every chosen one must pass through seasons where prayers seem unanswered and doors appear closed. These are not signs of abandonment, they are signs of construction. In those quiet hours, heaven is crafting your heart, refining your motives, and deepening your roots. Because when the time for revelation comes, you must not only rise, but remain. What God is forming in you during the silence will sustain you when the spotlight arrives. The chosen are often misunderstood during their silent seasons because others cannot see what God is building behind the curtain. People might say you failed. People might say you failed or that your moment has passed. But they cannot see the hidden hand of God shaping your destiny. Like a seed buried underground, you are unseen for a time, but that doesn't mean you are lifeless. Growth is taking place in the unseen. The silence is not a pause. It is progress in disguise. Every hidden season is proof that heaven is trusting you with something precious. It is in the quietness that faith is purified. Without noise or recognition, you learn to depend solely on God's voice. You learn that His presence is enough. Even when there is no applause, those who rush their process end up fragile, but those who embrace God's timing emerge unshakable. The silence teaches humility, patience, and spiritual strength. And when the season of unveiling finally comes, you will realize that the waiting was not wasted. The silence was never emptiness. It was the sacred space where God was writing your next chapter. So do not despise the quiet. It is heaven's workshop, and you are being prepared for divine revelation. Every chosen one faces opposition because divine purpose always attracts spiritual resistance. The battles you endure are not random. They are confirmation of the calling upon your life. The greater your assignment, the greater the warfare. The enemy recognizes your potential even when you do not. And he fears what you will become once you fully walk in your anointing. This is why challenges come not to destroy you, but to distract you. Every delay, betrayal, or setback is an attempt to make you doubt your identity in God. But if you can endure the storm, you will emerge with strength and authority that only adversity can produce. When you are chosen, your life carries weight in the spiritual realm. You are not fighting for survival. You are fighting for territory. The enemy would rather you remain silent, discouraged, and hidden because your obedience threatens his plans. Each hardship is a test of endurance designed to prove your faith. God allows certain battles not to weaken you, but to train you for greater victories ahead. You cannot carry the mantle of greatness without first learning how to stand firm under pressure. Every time you choose faith over fear, heaven celebrates and darkness loses ground. Sometimes you wonder why life seems harder for you than for others. It's because you are not called to live like others. You are chosen, and chosen people carry unusual weight. You cannot take shortcuts. You cannot compromise your principles. You cannot blend in with the crowd. The opposition comes because your spirit carries authority. The enemy doesn't attack the empty, he attacks the vessel filled with purpose. That's why when storms rise around you, it's a sign that something valuable within you is about to break through. Every struggle you face carries a lesson that will strengthen your spirit. God doesn't waste pain. He uses every tear, every disappointment, every moment of confusion to shape your character and sharpen your discernment. When you understand this, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin to say, what is this preparing me for? The opposition is not your enemy. It is your trainer. It builds your spiritual muscles and teaches you how to walk with divine authority. The resistance you face today is proof that heaven has invested in you. So stand firm in faith, because the very battles meant to break you are the ones God will use to confirm your calling and elevate your destiny. When heaven sends a message, it is not always wrapped in miracles or blessings. Often it comes in the form of divine instruction. God speaks to the chosen ones not just to comfort them, but to guide them. Many people miss their breakthrough because they expect blessings without listening for direction. Yet heaven operates through order, and every promise is connected to a specific instruction. The chosen must learn to listen with spiritual ears, for sometimes what God tells you to do may not make sense in the natural world. But obedience unlocks what prayer alone cannot. It was not the strength of faith that brought results for the heroes of the Bible. It was obedience to divine instruction. When heaven speaks, every word carries the power to bring its own fulfillment. But that power is activated through action. Heaven's instructions are often quiet, subtle, and personal. They may come through prayer, a dream, a sudden thought, or even a small conviction in your spirit. You will know it is God when it brings peace, even if it requires courage. The chosen must understand that God does not waste words. When He speaks, it is to prepare, position, and protect. Many miss divine timing because they delay in obeying. Every instruction is a doorway, and hesitation keeps it closed. When you learn to move when heaven moves, you enter into divine flow where things align effortlessly. God's instructions are not meant to burden you, but to bless you. Sometimes He will tell you to release something that is holding you back, or to take a step of faith that feels uncomfortable. In those moments, you must remember that obedience always comes before manifestation. Heaven never calls you to sacrifice without preparing a greater reward on the other side. What seems like loss to you is often positioning for increase. Divine instruction sharpens discernment, teaching you to depend more on God than on logic. The chosen must also understand that obedience builds intimacy. The more you listen, the clearer His voice becomes. The more you respond, the greater your authority grows. Heaven entrusts deeper revelation to those who have proven faithful with smaller directions. Even the smallest act of obedience, speaking when He says speak, giving when He says give, moving when He says move, creates ripples in the spiritual realm. The chosen do not live by sight, they live by divine signals. Each instruction from heaven carries a piece of destiny. And when you align your steps with it, doors open that no man can shut. What heaven desires most is not perfection, but surrender. And through that surrender, the supernatural becomes your reality. The chosen ones are not called to live in fear or silence. They are called to walk in divine authority. Heaven has placed within you the same spiritual power that raised the dead, healed the sick, and calmed the storms. Yet many live beneath their inheritance because they have forgotten who they are in the eyes of God. You were never meant to be a victim of your circumstances. You were created to be a vessel of divine dominion. When God calls you chosen, He also equips you with the authority to speak things into existence, to declare what must be, and to silence what should not be. The words you speak in faith are not mere sounds. They are spiritual commands that heaven recognizes and executes. Every time you open your mouth in alignment with God's word, something begins to shift in the unseen. The chosen do not beg, they decree. They do not complain, they command. Heaven responds to faith-filled declarations because when you speak with conviction, you are echoing God's own voice on earth. Fear has no authority where faith speaks. That is why the enemy constantly tries to silence the chosen ones. He knows that the moment you realize your power, his influence loses strength. Your words are weapons, and your faith is the force that activates them. There is a divine principle that whatever you allow on earth is allowed in heaven, and whatever you forbid on earth is forbidden in heaven. That means your speech carries legal authority in the spiritual realm. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot release fear and expect peace. The power of life and death truly rests in your tongue. And as a chosen one, every declaration you make sets spiritual forces in motion. When you declare healing, it begins to manifest. When you speak prosperity, provision starts aligning itself with your path. Your authority is not based on emotion or effort. It is based on identity. When you understand who you are, fear loses its grip. You no longer tremble before challenges. You speak to them with confidence. Mountains move not because of how loud you shout, but because of how deeply you believe. Heaven backs your words when they are spoken in alignment with divine will. The chosen must remember that authority is not arrogance. It is responsibility. You were placed on this earth to be heaven's representative, to speak life where there is death, hope where there is despair, and peace where there is chaos. Your words are sacred instruments of divine creation. Use them boldly, speak them faithfully, and watch as heaven moves on your behalf. Every chosen one has an appointed season when heaven announces their emergence. The waiting, the silence, and the struggles are never permanent. They are preparation for the moment when God says, now, there comes a divine turning point when the years of obscurity make sense, when what once felt like delay reveals itself as divine timing. Heaven does not rush destiny because true greatness requires maturity. You have been hidden not to be forgotten, but to be fortified. God has been shaping your spirit, pruning your character, and refining your heart for the exact moment when your light must shine before the world. The chosen cannot rise prematurely because premature elevation destroys unprepared vessels. When the appointed season arrives, everything that once resisted you begins to cooperate with you because divine timing aligns every element in your favor. You will know your season has come not because life becomes easy, but because the doors that were once closed begin to open without effort. Opportunities that once ignored you will now seek you. The same people who overlooked you will be the ones to witness your breakthrough. This is the divine reversal that heaven orchestrates for the chosen, where pain becomes promotion and every hidden sacrifice becomes a testimony. When God says it's time, no human hand can delay it and no spiritual opposition can block it. Your season of manifestation is not something you strive to force. It is something heaven releases when your preparation meets divine timing. Many give up just before this season because the final stretch of waiting often feels the hardest. The enemy attacks most intensely right before breakthrough, trying to make you abandon what you've been believing for. But those who remain steadfast will see what they have prayed for. The chosen ones must trust that even when the process feels endless, heaven has already scheduled their unveiling. You are not behind, you are in alignment. God is never late, He is exact. When your appointed season comes, it will not arrive quietly. There will be signs, peace in your heart, clarity in your spirit, and acceleration in your steps. What took years will begin to happen in moments. It will feel as though heaven itself has breathed on your destiny, propelling you into places you could never reach on your own. This is the season heaven has been preparing you for, the season where every tear, prayer, and act of faith will bear fruit. You are stepping into manifestation, not by your power, but by divine decree. Heaven has announced your time to rise, and nothing on earth can stop what has already been set in motion. Beloved chosen ones, as we come to the end of this message, remember this truth. Heaven has not forgotten you. Every tear, every silent prayer, every sleepless night has been seen and recorded by God. You were never abandoned, you were being prepared. The silence was your training ground. The battles were your confirmation, and the waiting was heaven's way of aligning everything for your appointed season. You are not just surviving, you are being positioned for divine manifestation. What once broke you is now the very thing strengthening you for the next level of your calling. You have been chosen for such a time as this, to be a carrier of light in a world overshadowed by fear. To speak faith where others see failure, and to walk with authority when others stumble in uncertainty. Heaven has already released the word. Now it is your time to act in faith, speak with power, and rise with courage. Every delay has a divine reason, and every challenge has hidden wisdom. What God began in you, He will complete, for His promises are never empty. This is not the end of your story. This is the unveiling of who you truly are. Stand firm in your faith. Keep your heart pure, your ears open, and your spirit ready. Heaven's instructions will continue to guide you, and the same God who chose you will sustain you. You are entering a season of clarity, abundance, and purpose. The light of God is about to shine through your life so brightly that even those who doubted you will have to acknowledge that it was God all along. So take this message not just as words, but as a divine confirmation. Heaven has spoken. It is your time to rise, your time to manifest, your time to walk boldly in the purpose for which you were created. You are chosen, favored, and unstoppable because the one who called you is faithful. May divine favor surround you like a shield. May peace flood your home, and may strength fill your spirit. Whatever you touch, may it prosper. Whatever you pray, may it align with heaven's will. The waiting season is over. Your rising season has begun. Good luck, beloved chosen one, as you step into your divine purpose. Thank you for listening, for believing, and for opening your heart to heaven's message today. Stay faithful, stay expectant, and remember, the best chapter of your life is just beginning.